Okay, recording in progress. Now let's go live.
Yeah.
You do not permission to live stream. What do you mean? I don't have permission to live stream. This is ridiculous here.
Mhm.
Sharing your timeline. Let's see.
Smart
Share,
composition.
share. Let me go. Let me go. Boundaries and Brotherhood
Back up.
page. Because this is one of those things that you just okay that have to go through. I'm gonna have to test this out
Mhm.
anyway because it's just yeah, I had to walk away from my computer because Andrew was like, "Just get away from your computer before you smash everything."
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's like
hear you on that, man. I've
yeah,
been there.
yeah, yeah. It's not gonna go live. I'm gonna have to test this thing out later on. Let me because it's supposed to. It's supposed to. Oh, see, something went wrong. It says, "Sorry, something went wrong." Gee, we have to redo this all again. Let me pause this. All right. All right, guys. It's number two. Last week we had a little bit of a problem. We're gonna go right into it because I don't want to be wasting your guys' time. If you want to follow on later on, I want you guys to understand to keep watching to find out the three things that's gonna impact your life. But you have to watch to the end to see where we got going on. Today's topic is the hidden dangers of loneliness and is your health at risk. My co-host here, Mr.
Mhm.
Doc Faircloth. My name is Gordon Watt. If you don't know, I've been helping other people for years, but I just wanted to say, like, today we're tackling that issue that quietly affects millions of people in loneliness. And I've talked to a lot of people, and so does Doc. But I was saying, I want you to address the problem you're seeing in the space right now.
So as far as like loneliness is concerned, we're conditioned as men to not reach out for help. And so from a very young age, we're taught that reaching out for help, needing others, is a sign of weakness. And so what we do is we hold things in. We hold in our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our problems. And by doing so, by isolating in that way, we actually kill ourselves. We destroy ourselves. We wipe out our energy reserves. We get tired. We get lonely. And honestly, a lot of times we start, contemplating whether we even want to be here anymore. Right? There's a phrase that is very common among us as men where we say we're tired. Right. And when we
Mm,
say we're tired, we're not talking about tired like I need to take a nap. We're not talking about tired like, hey, let me just, take a couple of days off. We're talking about we're tired of being here. We're tired of being empty. We're tired of being alone. We're tired of being we're tired of just you being sick and just being ignored and unloved and uncared for and used. Like we're tired of that. And the solution, unfortunately, is not a good one. It's not a good
right.
one as far as like taking your own life. It's not. Right? So what I see in a lot of the men that I work with is that isolation, that societal pressure isolation. To be a man, you have to be by yourself. As a matter of fact, I've had some people come in and say that they feel like they're being weak because they've reached out for
Mm,
help. And I
yeah.
have to reassure them that one of the most powerful things that you can do, one of the most brave things and courageous things you could do is actually reach out for help because you're going against the entire system, cultural systems, societal systems, religious systems. You're going against all of these things, everything you've been taught your entire life. You're saying, I need help so bad. I'm willing to reject all of that and reach out. And so those are some of the biggest issues that I see when dealing with and working with men is that we don't want to open up. We don't want to share because it's just again, it's just too dangerous, right?
Right.
We're scared of what it means. So that's what I'm seeing in the space.
Right. It's kind of deep because a lot of people don't they've been told from old belief systems that not to get help, not to reach out to people, not to do things. I've seen a lot of people. In fact, most of the people that I talk to, they want to always talk to me in private. You know what I mean? And it's not what I don't do therapy because that's a whole gray line of everything else going on.
Hmm.
Doc is in the professional field. We do coaching together. We're backing each other's up on a play because coming together as one, that's why we created Boundaries and Brother, because some people need that brotherhood, that camaraderie, that thing to get out of that loneliness, to be something with somebody. I mean, because sometimes Doc cannot do things with other people, but he can also have leverage to put people in the group to direct them to go, hey, if you need some help over here, come over here to this space. And that's what we're going to create later on in the future, right? Let me ask you, Seth, what are some of the unseen burdens of this loneliness that you're seeing, and how can we help these people?
The unseen burdens, honestly, it's more often than not, it's emotional. Um,
Mm.
I would say it's more emotional than anything else. As far as like seeking help for men, like physical help we'll get. Like, hey, can I borrow your truck? Hey, can you help me move? Things like that. We'll seek help that way. Spiritual help, we'll go to church, we'll go to the mosque, or we'll go to the temple, whatever, and we'll talk to our religious leaders. We'll be in our groups and we'll powwow there. Um, mental health, we'll self-help all day. We'll read books, we'll watch podcasts, we'll do this. That's actually common among men, like watching podcasts and things like that. And financial, we'll do the same thing. We'll find someone who can help us. So that's usually not where the isolation is. The isolation that I've seen with men primarily would be emotional isolation. We don't open up
Mm.
and share anything. We have to be good. You ask us how we're doing, we say we're fine, we're
Mm-hmm.
good, we're all right. And we could be dying on the inside. We could feel unloved on the inside, unappreciated on the inside, sad, angry, embarrassed, unworthy. We can be feeling all of these things on the inside, and you would never know it. We,
Right.
we, we are some of the best actors. Men are some of the best
Yeah.
actors you've ever seen in your entire life because
They
we can
have to.
hold it all together.
They have
Yeah,
to.
we have to,
Yeah, they
right?
have to, right?
Because we've been taught no woman wants a weak man, and we're taught that emotions are weak. Emotions make us weak. That is what we have been taught as men. If you're to be a real man, you need to have no emotions. You need to just let everything just roll off your shoulders. You need to be like, one of those guys at a 300 where you just like, we're just straight warriors, we're straight killers, and that's it. Nothing can bother us. Like, that's just not reality.
Well, there's a
That's not
place and a
reality.
time for that. I'm gonna tell
No,
you, there is
you
a
know
place
what?
and a time for that. Yeah.
I love the fact that you said that because you're 100% correct. Because
Yes.
that is part of our makeup, and there are times when we have to push through,
Yeah.
100%. But the problem is, we've been taught that we have to always push through. There's never time to take the armor off. There's never time to stop fighting. You always have to keep everything to yourself and fight the battles by yourself until one day you turn against yourself and take your own life. And then everyone's looking around looking at all surprised.
Right. Right.
Never
Right.
know. They never
Right.
said anything. They look so happy. He had the perfect family. Da 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 da. How
Right.
could he do that? You had no idea.
No
And the
idea.
thing is, Gordon, I'll tell you this right now. As much as we as men don't like to open up and share, you know, we do drop hints. We
Hmm.
do,
Yep.
try in some way, shape, or form to let someone know that I'm not all right. We do. As a matter of fact, it's impossible for us to hold everything in for so long without something leaking out.
Yep.
Doesn't matter who we
Yep.
are.
I look
But
at
the
it this way, right? If
Mhm,
you was to get a bucket of slime and you push it down, there's holes all over the place in the bucket,
mhm,
right? You only can
mhm,
plug so much with what you got ongoing in the world. It's
mhm.
gonna leak somewhere and it's gonna crack open somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just that's just part of the situation and the lifestyle we're in and the old beliefs. Now let me
Mhm,
ask you this. Let
mhm,
me ask you this because me and Doc, we do some things together with the kids, with men, with women's, with relationships, with communication, doing all this stuff, grouping. How are you seeing? How can we help other individual men in the same situation? How would you tell them to come out where it's a safe place? How would you approach that?
Well, I think the first thing we got to do, honestly, is create the safe space.
Right. Okay.
Me and you had that conversation just yesterday where um trying to direct men to a safe space, it's like, well, where do they go?
Mm-hmm,
Right?
mm-hmm,
I think naturally we want to talk about sending them to different activities and things like that, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a safe space at
mm-hmm.
all. So when you ask the question, like, okay, well, where do these men go? Honestly, we have to create the safe space. We have to be a safe space. You know,
Right.
I've been blessed, in my opinion. Well, not opinion. I've been blessed by God, to be able to be a safe space for other people, not just men, but just really for everybody, right? However, I'm one man. I can't do it alone, right? I can't reach everybody. I can't be everywhere.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
we need to create more safe spaces for men to come and be vulnerable and share without the fear of being looked down upon. Because unfortunately, there are some men in our society that they believe in these false personality things like, oh, I'm an alpha and all this foolishness like that, not recognizing that no, we're so much more than that.
Right, right,
We're
right.
alpha, beta, gamma, omega, sigma, everything else in between. Like we're the entire spectrum, right? Because we can turn it on and turn it off whenever. But some people are so caught up in these fallacies that they actually end up putting down other people. They actually
Right.
start tearing other people down. And so we need to be that safe space. One of the things for my own life is I want to be what I needed for other people. I want to be that safe space because when I was young, I didn't have that. So I want to be that for men. So you can come to me, you share whatever you want to share, and I promise you, ain't nothing too far off the walls. Ain't nothing's gonna make me say, "Oh, you're a horrible person," or "Oh man, you're terrible," or "Oh man, did it." No, I'm not gonna do that, right? Whatever you share, whatever you open up about, hey, listen, let's walk through it together, man. That we
Right,
need
right.
so in order to address it, Gordon, to what you were saying, we need to create more safe spaces. We need to become safe spaces for each other, so we don't have to hold all that stuff in anymore.
Right, right. And that's why we're creating multiple things. I just want to let you guys know, the audience know, if you're watching this on the replay, leave a comment to find out where you're gonna. I don't know where it's gonna be because we're creating a YouTube channel where you can come and get safe place. We're having workshops available because if you don't address these issues that Doc was saying, it gets worse. It gets worse, and then we like the worst inevitable thing can happen, and we just don't want that because with with so much going on in the world right now, you need to find your place and have a purpose, and you need a place where you can thrive as like men do men things, right? Okay, say you want to go throw a ball, you want to go play flag football, you want to go play tackle football, you want to go work out in the gym, you want to do something. That's fine, but there's also be a place where you can actually talk about your shit. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, in fact, given you just was at an event, Doc, where CEOs, people that have all these things, still hold their stuff in. Can you give me an example of what you've seen there?
So I went to that event, I there was a panel of men, pretty prominent men in the
Right,
community. One was a real estate investor, entrepreneur. One was in the education field and coaching. The other one was a pastor. And what they were sharing, and these are high level guys, and they were going through the exact same things that we've all gone through, no matter what
right.
level we're at, right? And you hear their story and you hear their testimony, you hear about how when they were at their lowest point, and they felt empty, they felt unloved, they felt like, and it's like, yeah, me too, you know, you know,
Mm-hmm.
dang,
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what that's like. I know exactly what it's like to feel like you're 100% alone in this world. So it doesn't matter what level of life you're at, what strata in your social, whatever. It doesn't matter. We experience the same thing. And the men I work with black men, white men, Hispanic men, Asian men. Like I work with them all, and it's the same story every single time. Yeah, in
Right,
a
right, right.
world now that's so divisive,
Right.
you know, and that these things are uniting us. How can the world be so divisive yet we're all going through the same thing? We're all going through the same struggle. But the problem is, like we said before, we're going through it alone. So you don't
Right.
know the next man's going through it. You think the next man's doing great. People probably look at me and like, oh man, Keith, his whole life, oh, he's always had it together. He's always no, no. But no, no, and no. I can't tell you how many times I've broken down behind closed doors, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and then had to man up, so to speak, get myself
Man
together to
up.
go face
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Like it's not good. And I also say this, Gordon, one of the things to address as well as far as like, isolation and loneliness and holding in that emotional hurt and pain, it actually can make you sick. It can create
Yeah. Yeah.
diseases, heart disease,
Diabetes,
all types
heart
of
disease,
cancers, can
stroke.
diabetes, all of that. Like it can literally make you sick.
Yeah,
Your immune system gets
literally,
compromised.
physically. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Because
So
it can manifest its way into the physical world just by having all these things. Like everything that you said, prominent men. They still have the same emotion. They dive into their work. I've been
Yeah.
CEO. I've been in prison. I've been in
Mhm.
so much range of guys and stuff. I've been to an all boys school. That's why I went to school, because I was a problem child, right?
Mhm.
But at the same time, that mental health struggle is real. The loneliness is because you want to take it all on your own. Some people are going to dive into their work. Some people are
Yep.
going to dive into their profession because they don't want to deal with this crap. We're
Yep.
here to tell you that if you don't address it, we say with coaching, the workshop, with doc, with anything else, please address it, because this thing hits people hard, and the pressures of being a man right now with, and what you see in YouTube and stuff like that, even though this is streaming and we're addressing these issues, you gotta pick and choose your battles, because some of that stuff is all fluff, because some of it is sales and marketing. I do sales and marketing. I do sales. I've walked away from my six-figure job that I love because I didn't want to be treated like a number again, because my integrity was there. But at the same time, the science speaks. And right now, even though I don't have the monetary value, I have family values, because what's more important? The three triangles that you need right now in today's, that I found out, you got to have your health, you got to have your family, and you have your finances in order. Everything else is going to come and go. So when you're on your deathbed and you're figuring out what is going to be the most important thing that you hold on to, how much money I'm going to give to my sons? No, it's a legacy. They're going to blow it. Like I've done it. I've lost 689,000 buried, and my uncle took it. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? And it's the same thing, what are some of the strategies you could tell somebody right now watching this on the replay? In fact, guys, leave a comment. We're going to put these on the Boundaries and Brotherhood YouTube page, Facebook page, so you guys can get a kind of used to what we're doing. You see some of the shorts. What are some of the strategies that you could give people to be aware of this, that you see, that you could give to people right now?
I think the first thing is recognize where you are and what you're actually feeling.
Mhm.
That's critical. If you can't put a word to it, a name, just write it down, journal, just write out exactly what's going on in your mind. Describe it in detail. Put it in a place that's safe. You don't have to worry about anyone seeing it. Because the thing is, I have a saying that the worst problem that anybody could have is not knowing they have a problem. That's the
Oh, that's
worst problem you
deep.
can have. You know,
That is deep.
so being
Repeat
able
that
to
again.
just,
Repeat that for the audience, because
yeah,
that's something I'm gonna take
the,
down and run.
the worst problem that anyone can ever have is not knowing they have a problem. Right. So we know we're isolated. We may not know how to articulate it, but even if you don't know how to articulate, and I see this with my clients a lot, they're like, well, I don't know how to put it into words. I say, just say whatever's on your mind, right? And they're able to say what's on their mind, and you'll be surprised how great not only you can articulate it, but how much you can start understanding where you are. But even better, you're getting it out. You gotta get it out. So if I can say anything like that first strategy, you gotta get it out. Even if you don't know how to put it into coherent words, write it out, get it out. Right? Because there's something about, and science says there's something about journaling, there's something about writing, getting it out of you that has a cathartic effect that reduces stress and reduces mental anguish and all that stuff like that. Like, so you gotta get it out first and foremost. The second thing I would say is learn about emotions. We as men have not been given the space or time to learn about emotions because, Gordon, like you said before, like you were saying earlier, right? There are times when we got to lock all that stuff down. Like, for instance, if you're in war, right? I can't have you having a mental breakdown over here and crying because something just happened. I can't have that. We need to address the situation and move forward, right? So there is 110% a place for that. Well, that's kind of extreme, but even in sports, right? We
Or
don't got
same.
time for you to break down. Okay, yeah, you made a mistake. Come on, we got to pick it up. We got to go, right? Because if you can start having that mental breakdown, start crying, start, kicking yourself guilt, we're not going to be able to perform. So there's 110% a place for that, but there's also a place for other emotions as well. There is a place to be sad. There is a time to be frustrated. There is a time to be disappointed or embarrassed or guilty or whatever the case may be. But if you can't put a name to the feeling, if you can't put a name to what's going on inside you, you're not going to know how to deal with it because
Right.
emotions are signals from your brain that something's going on. You got to do something. So we as men have to learn. Okay, we have to learn about emotions. At least the first five. Happy, sad, scared, angry, and I can't think of what the other one is right now. Happy, sad,
Anxiety,
scared, angry, well, fear. Fear
fear.
would be
Yeah.
that one. I can't think of what the fifth one is though, but we can get that out. But if you could just get those just general, right? Because there's a lot of stuff that kind of fits in those categories as it is. But if
Mm-hmm.
you can at least get those, right, it gives you a place to start. Because once you understand the emotion, then you know, okay, I can kind of start moving in that direction. And the third thing is, if you have the strength to bear all this stuff alone, you have the strength to face it.
Mm-hmm.
Too
Absolutely.
often, we as men are scared to actually face our emotions and feelings. We are. But we forget that you know how much strength it takes to hold this stuff in for
Too
for
much.
10,
For
20
what?
years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. You It takes a lot of strength to carry that load, right? So if you have the strength to carry that for so long while you are depleted, because a lot of our men are depleted, like they don't have anything left, but they're still trucking along. If you have the
Mm-hmm.
strength to carry on like that, I promise you, men, you have the strength to face what's going on inside you. It will not break you. I promise you, it will not break you. I had to face my stuff before. And to tell you the honest truth, after I started doing it, I felt invincible. I'm like, this is crazy. It really feels like this. Like I'm still here. Like I face my emotions. Like, and I'm still here. So I would say those are at least three strategies, right? That we can most certainly tie into, right? Recognizing that you have an issue and getting it out. And if you can't describe it properly, get it out. Understanding your emotions, understanding what those mean. And the last thing, just making sure that you what's the last thing, Gordon? Help me out. The last thing.
I mean, we'll just end it because
Yeah.
as we wrap up, I mean, we reflected on so much of this short amount of time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Loneliness is serious health risk,
Yeah.
affecting both mind, body, and spirit. But the good news is by recognizing and addressing it by what just Doc just said, you can kind of like improve everything that you got going on and be able to pour it all out. You mean,
Hmm.
you know, if basically if you found this episode enlightening or something, or you know somebody that needs to hear this crap, please leave a comment, guys. We're coming out with workshops to address these things. I can take a piece of paper, give you what your topics is, and so you can address these things because these things are going to what propel you to find purpose, to find meaning, to find self-love into yourself, and to be able to do things that you never in business, in your personal life, in your communications, in your relationships, and the power for connection with us. If you want to reach out to Doc, please message him. His name is Dr. Keith Faircloth. You'll see him popping up all over the line. He is accredited. I'm not accredited, but I have the wisdom and impact and the instill that I've been doing this for years. But now it's time to get other people to see my vision, to see our vision, to see it so that we can help other men achieve greatness, not just in the financial world. That's a whole nother issue that we have another whole segment. But I just want to say that thank you for watching, guys. Please reach out, leave a comment, share it. If you like this type of stuff, please leave a comment. This is for you guys because at the end of the day, I don't want to get a call. Oh, you served so and so, like Doc said. I need this and that. I don't really want to be, especially when I know I can help. I could do my agency. I could do selling. I could do closing. I chose to do this with Doc because I know the impact needs for people like this. Because this way, my boys see this on the replays later on. What did Dad used to do? I used to help other men. That's what I'm doing this for.
Yeah.
All right, Doc. Let me end this right here.
All right.
Let's stop.